Sam, let's talk about a
Yes.
game that you've been playing.
Yes.
Is this an early? Is this early access?
Yes, I believe it released into early access last Friday or
Okay.
Thursday. Not sure which. Um, just missed it last week when we were trying to cover things. But yeah, Windkeepers Rising is kind of a I don't know. Have we come up with a term for what the Vampire Survivors likes
No.
genre
The
is?
Garlic like
garlic
or
like
yeah.
has
Garlic
been
like.
people have been sort of
Um,
leaning towards. So.
Sure. So it's one of those, survival
I was gonna say let's come up
isometric
with something.
games.
You know how people are starting to call Souls likes roll slop now. We need to figure something out like that. We need a bullet slop or some
Yeah.
nonsense.
Um, but essentially, it's along the lines of those games, Vampire Survivors esque. But this one has a sort of extra dynamic to it that you're sort of capturing and using these creatures alongside of you in battle. So essentially, you go through different missions and you'll be able to get these creatures and then be able to sort of go into other missions and take these creatures with you or recover creatures within there and sort of build out teams. So they sort of become your weapons that then you can stack sort of elements and other abilities on top of them. So, like, let's say, you get an item that would make your auto attack percentage go up 50% or something like that. You could choose to add that to your character, or you can add it to one of the monsters or creatures that are with you in the battles. So you can kind of change people's loadouts. Each creature also has, whether you want to call it an ultimate or a special ability, that gains over time as they're sort of doing damage and killing other monsters. And then you can choose when to trigger those, and some of them are defensive ones that'll give you shields. Some of them kind of clear out areas. Um, it's all just kind of depends on what sort of creatures and what you're currently stacking with you. And yeah, it's in early access. As we mentioned, it just came out on Steam last week sometime, and it's got a pretty strong foundation to start with. My only real complaint now is that it's not like I guess capturing the creatures isn't as much as it is capturing as it's sort of show up to the location on the map and it's hey today we're discovering X creature and you play the mission and it's just stand here after 5 minutes and then we unlock X creature and then we can take him into battles. So it's kind of not really like not monster hunting, not monster capturing, I guess. It's kind of just using them more as sort of custom weapons than it is using them as like creature farming, if that makes sense. Like if
Yeah,
you're more of a Pokemon fan, like this isn't the sort of like I'm capturing somebody and raising them and making them stronger and building teams that way. It's more of okay, now I have access to this creature so I can use them in this next battle. Or I now have them in the availability that they'll show up in the sort of RNG locations to where I can spawn a creature in this map specifically. Uh, and it just doesn't feel much like you're capturing creatures, and it just feels like you're sort of capturing weapons. But other than that point, I mean, it is a very strong vampire survivor like game. So far, the missions, it is broken up into a mission. It's not like a vampire survivors or some of these other games where you're like surviving for 30 minutes and then you unlock things. It's, go into this location and hold this area for 5 minutes or clear out this thing and destroy these things and then do a giant boss fight. So it kind of breaks them up into different styles. But I mean, it is just one of these auto survivor games, so you are still just surviving waves and waves of people. So that is like the core tenet. So you are doing that in pretty much every single mission that you're doing. It does have a like pretty cool like hand drawn like art style to it. And I am not fully through all of the early access content that's there, but there's a bunch of different biomes involved, and obviously they will still be building towards. I think the planned release is at the end of this year. But of course, with any early access game, you have to, you know, buyer's risk of there's always the potential that this early access game could never see the light of day, or its final build could be a week from now. So you always got to take that into consideration.
This looks great. Like visually, it's really
Aesthetically,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like honestly like pretty interesting for
Mhm.
these like these sort of roguelike like style games. Like you are unlocking, you're killing a bunch of enemies, going up a level, you're getting these items then you can spread to everything. And so far, like the leveling outside of that is just sort of, oh, you're making your character stronger, so his base percentages and certain stats go up. And I've only seen two different characters so far in my playing. You're kind of seeing them in this trailer. One of them is like a sort of melee character that auto attacks when characters get close. And then there's a ranged character that's attacking basically the closest character to that character when they go to auto attack. So some of that stuff is probably going to expand, and there'll be more of it moving forward. But yeah, something to keep an eye on. And you'll probably hear more as we get down the early access pipeline with it and closer to its actual release.